Hello, you're watching Proactive London. I'm joined by Francesco Gardin. He's the chairman and the CEO of Quantum Blockchain Technologies. Francesco, your subsidiary Clear Leisure 2017 is won in the Venice Court of Appeal in a lawsuit against former directors and auditors of Cipium. Can you give us a bit of background into the case?
First of all, good morning, Stefan. Glad to see you again. And yes, it's a pleasure to try to explain what is unfortunately a very technical Italian law situation, which may not be so understandable for the occasional reader of the announcement which we released this morning. But in short, summary, we had a first result back in October 2022, where the first ruling awarded us 6.2 million plus interest plus inflation or devaluation. And as a result of that ruling, immediately the defendants did two things. One, they appealed against the ruling, and second, they appealed against our ability to collect until such time when the appeal would be completed and the ruling of the appeal will be out. Not all defendants have been awarded this flexibility in having our ability of collecting frozen. So in particular, the main defender was not granted this right, and another defendant was not granted this right. In the meantime, we have negotiated an agreement, a settlement with the defendant who had our ability to collect frozen, and that's where we are.
You were previously awarded a 700,000 euro settlement. You now have a damage award of 6.1 million euros. What happens to the 700,000, Francesco?
Liable and several position, which means that the main defendant is liable for 6.2 million, but other defendants are liable. In one case, two of them for 4.5, another one for 1.4, another one for 1. Which means that if the main defendant doesn't pay, we can collect by the other, and vice versa. So after this hearing, the appeal hearing, is that we now can collect not only from the main defendant, but also from other defendants where their position frozen, and now they are liable and several for the amounts. In case of two defendants, 4.5 million. In case of another defendant, 1.4. In the case of the defendant who settled for 1 million plus interest plus valuation. So while the technicality of the settlement is rather complex, we believe that this money should not be returned. However, negotiations have already started, and we have indication from the defendants and from lawyers and from the receiver lawyer that there is room for another agreement, which of course will, in our view, could only improve the 700,000 position, because unfortunately for them, now there is a ruling which basically states that they should return 1 million, and the settlement was based on the fact that the court will remove the defendant from the case before the ruling. This didn't happen, and therefore we're sorry for them, but this is what was agreed, and we will pursue our rights to collect if we can reach another agreement with the defendants and the receiver.
So what are the next steps then, Francesco?
Of course, we weren't waiting, doing nothing, this ruling, and so we have actually worked to collect information about assets of the defendants. And as I said, negotiations have already started with the receiver and the lawyer of the receiver and lawyer of the defendant. So we are I wouldn't say optimistic because I didn't want to create any expectation, but all I can say is that our legal team in Milan has proved not only in the first hearing but also during the appeal to be extremely good and efficient.
Francesco, in the meantime, how are you progressing with your R&D?
Of course, you know that I cannot disclose anything which hasn't already put in the public arena. However, we are working as hard as usual, and our team of 20 more researchers are making progress every day. I understand that the expectations of the market are such that they would like us to announce some important news, but the complexity of what we are addressing is such that the improvements that we are achieving in the lab are so relevant that before we release information about the product, we will really want to be 100% that it will perform in operational situation, which is running every day 24/7 for months, which is the actual situation of any Bitcoin mining facility.
I hope you'll keep us updated on any progress. Thank you very much for speaking with us today, Francesco.
Thank you, Stefan. Have a great day.
And you. Francesco Gardin is the chairman and the CEO of Quantum Blockchain Technologies.